Hi, Wizard Tuesday, guys. Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about Diva Gadgets. So I built an Ultimate Offering Diva Gadgets deck and tried it out this weekend. The deck did pretty well, but not good enough to be completely honest. It had games where it was absolutely amazing and games where it was absolutely terrible. There's a lot to be said about the deck, so we're going to jump in first things first and talk about the matchups, and then at the end, I'll show you the deck list itself, and you'll get a better understanding of why I want to change some of the things in the deck moving forward. So, game one, we are round one, game one, we are facing Evil Hero Frog. Yes, you heard that correctly. He was playing Evil Hero with the frogs. A little teched out deck. Maybe we'll take a look or a crack at building that ourselves for What's Cooking Wednesday. But for now, Evil Hero Frog. Game one, I drew opening hand Caius, Book of Moon, Bottomless Trap Hole, Heavy Storm, Dimensional Prison, and Pot of Avarice. That Caius ended up being my only monster for several turns before just losing the game. I got hit by not Treeborn Frog 3 times, and then he was able to finally drop some bigger monsters and kill me. Game one was awful. That's really not much to be said about that. Game one did not go well at all. Game two, however, was a lot better for me. I opened up with Pulling the Rug, Ultimate Offering, Blackwing Gale, Lightning Vortex, Bottomless Trap Hole, and Caius. I set Rug and Offering, I believe, and I got heavied. I lost them both. But I top decked Fossil Dyna for turn in game two. And yeah, Dyna carried me to victory along with Lightning Vortex, allowing me to just take game two down to the wire and actually winning it. He did manage to put me on 300 life points, though, as you could see. But in the end, we pulled out the win and pushed for a game three. So, game three, my opening hand had Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute, Soul Release, Neospacian Grand Mole, and Doom Caliber. So, we did draw the Doom Caliber Knight in this game. After I drew it, I was like, man, I probably should have just sided this out. Treeborn insta kills it, but I had the Soul Release to go with it. So I was like, well, maybe not. So I do end up soul releasing, getting rid of his Treeborn, and yeah, we go back and forth a lot. Honestly, there's a lot of turns of draw pass, not much happening, and then we start poking at each other. Grand Mole does some Grand Mole stuff. Mirror Force does Mirror Force stuff. I'm on 7,200. I take him down to 2,900, and I'm like, this game is going pretty okay. He has 2 cards in hand, and I outed, I believe, the malicious edge that he had summoned, and I'm like, okay, here comes Miracle Fusion, and of course, there goes. He drops the Miracle Fusion, and then he immediately drops the Dark Fusion as well. So he had both to summon the Evil Hero Malicious Fiend, I believe is her name, and also Absolute Zero, taking me down to 1,200 life points in that one turn. I still had the Grand Mole though, so I was able to Grand Mole one and bounce and then smashing ground the other. But unfortunately, I was on 1,200 life points. So any monster would win him the game. And he just showed me, yeah, I had nothing else, I believe. That was like the only 2 cards I had. So it was very rough game to say the least. And basically, I was like, show me a monster and you win. And his last in hand card after that was, or maybe his top deck. Yeah, his top deck was Neos Alias, and yeah, that was just game. So I lost round one in a very close. I say close, but not close because we I was dominating for most of game three just to lose out to an absolutely crazy board. All right, and then round two, I played against Diva Hero Beat, and my opening hand for game one was Bottomless Trap Hole, Deep Sea Diva, Brain Control, Smashing Ground, Grand Mole, and Caius. You'll see a trend with the Caius and the Grand Moles. They're in my hand a lot, and I think I'm going to change versions of the card. I am tired of opening them in my opening hands every game. I'm about to switch to like all common Caiuses and common Grand Mole. This is just ridiculous how many times I opened up into them. It seems like people were cutting them to the top. I don't know what the deal is with that, but game one was a pretty back and forth game. I do believe he ended up just outplaying me with traps. I think he had more traps, and I think what was it, the Gemini, not Gemini Spark, but the Hero Blast. He Hero Blasted, and that was able to put him back in the game. He took out the Grand Mole, and yeah, he was able to win game one like that. Game two, uh, he hit me for like 700 or something like that, running over something. So game two, I opened up with smashing breaker. I sighted in the breakers, red gadget, ultimate offering, cyber dragon, and Caius. So for this, I had summoned a red gadget. I set the ultimate offering, and then he summoned Ab Zero or something like that, and actually, no, he didn't do any damage. So he summoned Ocean. Sorry, he summoned an Ocean, tried to run over the gadget. I ultimate offering, tributed for Caius, and then I ultimate offering again while still in his battle phase to search out a yellow gadget. Ultimate offering again and just dropped a few monsters on board. And then yeah, it was OTK. He didn't have any back row that did anything, and I was able to just win the game from that with a complete OTK with Ultimate offering the gadgets and IS combined. So yeah, he was very like, oh no, now I know what you're doing. Because game one, he didn't see the Ultimate offering plays. He wasn't sure what the deck was trying to do. And yeah, so Kaiasing in opponent's battle phase turns out that's a really, really strong play. Surprise, surprise, right? All right. Game three, however, was rough. Game three, I opened up with guess what? Grand Mole yet again. And as you can see, I also had Starlight Road. Kept that in because of Ab Zero. Plague Spreader, Zombie, Diva, and Brain Control. So this game did not go well for me, suffice to say. I think I drew Breaker for turn. I summoned Breaker, attacked over Stratos, broke the Future Fusion. Thanks for looking okay. He goes Alias, runs over the Breaker, and I out that. And I just remember how I lost this game. So at some point, the board state was he just had Ocean, and my hand was Brain Control, Diva, Plague Spreader. He had Ocean in a set. He had Ocean in a set. I had the Brain Control, Diva, Plague Spreader. So I brain controlled, and I thought, and I'm like, do I summon Plague Spreader or do I go Diva and try to go for the 8? So in the end, I ended up going Diva. He allowed it to go through. And then I grabbed the other Diva, specialed it in defense mode, and then after the special summon, he flipped up Super Poly and Ab Zeroed. Yeah, the game was just a wash from there. I could not come back. Uh, it was impossible to come back from that. Even with being able to out Ab Zero, he just took full advantage, and I had nothing left. I should have summoned the Plague Spreader. I was going to summon the Plague Spreader, and then I got greedy. I, I I knew the Super Poly was an option, and I played right into it. I was like, he ain't got it. It's fine. No worries. And he had it, so I lost. But I did have Plague, and I could have used Plague, and that would have been a better play, but it is what it is. Uh, Not much I can really say about that. I was gonna just go Ocean into either Brio or Goyo, but I lost. There we go. So he beat me with my own misplay on the Super Poly. And then we go on to round three. I am 0-2. I was considering just dropping and leaving, but I was like, the deck is doing good. I've gone to game three every single round. I just can't seem to get over that hump, So round three, we're playing against Vayu Assault Mode, which I played against him a few weeks back. And I opened up Doom Caliber, Torrential, Dimensional Prison, Smashing Ground, Starlight Road, and a red gadget. So I have some traps this game. All right. At one point, I summon the red gadget. He summons Gale. He halves, runs it over. That's the damage he does for this game. And then I just take complete control of the game. I had a big torrential play in this game that put me back into it because he had a snowman eater that I was struggling to out. And yeah, so I think he used Necro Gardener to out my Doom Caliber, which happened twice today. Uh, but that's cool, we ended up just taking that game, took just took him down slowly, slowly, slowly. And then game number 2, as you can see from the life points, I was on 8,000, dropped down to 78, and then 39. So game 2, it's rough when you open up with Diva and Gilman. It's that happened a lot. A lot of the times where I had the Diva, I would draw Gilman for turn or something. The turn I was gonna finally summon Diva, and I don't know, man, but he hit me for 200 running over something, and then I solemned, and then yeah, the rest of the game, I think I ended up OTKing with Ultimate Offering. I think that's where the rest of my life points went. I paid 1,000, then paid another 5, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just pay another 5. And the ending board ended up being Goyo, Bryonic, Green Gadget, Red Gadget with Ultimate Offering to clear out his one set monster and win the game. He had Brain Controlled and Tribute set, so I was like, this is either Caius or Malicious. And I knew I could run it over, but I didn't really want to give him Malicious back. But he ended up showing me his hand, and it was indeed a Malicious. And he had another Malicious and Dad in his hand. So he was pretty bricked up when I went for the big pay and OTK'd him with Ultimate Offering. So Ultimate Offering likes to OTK in game 2. That's what we learned. And that was a 2-0. And I finally got a win. And I was like, yay, the deck, is doing stuff. I did the combo with Bryonic and the gadgets. And then we move on to round 3, where you can see one of the changes I want to make immediately. I should not have played Double Pot of Avarice. It was too many. So game number 1, I took like a quick 11. And then I ended up hitting him for 9 directly with Grand Moles. Like, it was bad. He OTK'd me. Like, he had all the value crap. He had Dad, and I just lost. I'm not even going to read this handout. Whatever. Who cares? Game 2. All right. This is another one. I opened up Book of Moon, Bottomless Trap Hole, Xingjun Hu, Starlight Road, Gale, and Torrential. The Xingjun Hu, I wanted to play it for so many turns, and he just kept just having one set. So eventually I got to a point where I had game if I Xingjun Hu. So I Xingjun Hu targeted his 1 and then targeted my Starlight Road and then pushed for game. This game went a lot better for me thanks to the traps. That's all I can say. So when the deck drew spells and traps, it won. When it drew monsters, it lost. I think every game that I lost, I had either 3, 4, or 5 monsters just chilling in my hand. And I don't think my monster count was like ridiculously high for that to be happening. My trap count is actually decent in this deck as well as the spells. So I don't know. It's just very, very unfortunate. But yeah, game 2, I ended up winning with this hand. The Xingjun Hu did okay. And then game 3, I opened up Ultimate Offering, Bottomless Trap Hole, Red Gadget, Bottomless Trap Hole, and Doom Caliber Knight. So I remember using the Ultimate Offering during his battle phase just to take less damage from attacks and summoned a few gadgets that way. And then I did that to try and bait. He had a Raikou set off of Hamster. I did that to try and bait the Raikou into targeting Ultimate Offering to leave my bottomlesses alone, and it worked out. And I ended up bottomlessing his value targets, his value specials, and then he was just like burial. And yeah, so rough stuff. And this Doom Cal also just lost out to Necro Gardener. This is another Doom Cal that Necro Gardener got banished and killed the Doom Cal, and Doom Cal didn't do much. I knew he had the Necro, but it's one of those maybe he doesn't realize it, and he did realize it, but only because he considered doing the Necro to stop my attack, to stop me from running over Greffer. And then, it is what it is. So I don't know. The deck worked good when it worked, but it definitely could use some modifications. That's for sure. So we'll talk a little about the deck list now. So my monster count, I was on the one ofs, one plague spreader zombie, one fossil dino, one gale, one neospatian grand mole. Then I played two doom calibers and one Ryza 3 Caius. I included Ryza just because I have recently acquired an Italian Ultimate and I wanted to play it, and that's why it's in the deck. And then we have two of each gadget, and then the Deep Siva Gilman package, putting us at the final four. Then triple smashing ground, double pot of avarice. Pot of avarice was awful, awful, awful. I played one the entire weekend, and I had to smash a red gadget. Well, I attempted to smash a red gadget into Dark Grepher, and he thought I had limiter removal, so he mirror forced it. I mean, it was a great trade for me, but I was just desperation, pot of avarice, trying to draw something to out his board, and did not. So I lost. I drew two monsters off pot of avarice, actually. And then mind control, brain control, heavy storm, MST, Book of Moon, a single copy of Book of Moon, then Starlight Road, Trap Dust Shoot, Torrential Tribute, Solemn Judgment, Triple Dimensional Prison, Double Bottomless, and two Ultimate Offering. Uh, Overall, like I said, the Pot of Avarice was definitely a card I would take out. The gadgets, I didn't see them that often. Like the very first game of the day that I drew a gadget was in game 3 of round 1. So when I saw the gadgets and Ultimate Offering, the deck went well. When I didn't, the deck went pretty piss poor, to be completely honest. Uh, but honestly, even when I just saw gadgets and monarchs, the deck went okay as long as I had a protection trap to keep me in the game. But, it is what it is, and that's what occurred. So for the extra deck, we played double Cataster Android for our fives. Then we played Goyo, Bryonic, and Flamevale Uraquizis. Our sevens, we played Black Rose Dragon and Gale. And then our eights, we were on Thought Ruler Archfiend, Colossal Fighter, Dark End Dragon, Double Stardust, and Red Dragon Archfiend, and then a Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, which I used, I think, twice. And then for the side deck, we had Snowman Eater times 2, Cyber Dragon, Soul Release, Noblemen of Crossout, Double Pulling the Rug, Double Light Imprisoning Mirror, Double Breakers, Trap Stun, Lightning Vortex, and Xinjiang Hu. The Xinjiang Hu was actually pretty good. The Trap Stun was good as well. I would change them interchangeably depending on if the opponent was on Dust Tornadoes or not, depending on what deck I was against. Um, I don't know. It was fun. I like the concept of it. It just didn't do what I needed it to do in game threes. Like I went to game 3 every single round and except for the 2-0 that I won. So the deck has potential. I see the potential there to be a strong deck. There's just a few missing pieces and a bricked Pot of Avarice that just should not be in the deck. I don't know what it should turn into. I don't know, a creature swap maybe. I think the deck is 42 cards, so technically you could just drop it and play one Pot of Avarice, but I don't know, man. Let me know if you like this deck though. I know I don't sound too enthusiastic about the deck, but it's just who I am. I don't play a deck more than once, really. It has to be something really, really special for me to want to use it more than one time. And this is just one of those decks. I'm not going to use this more than one time, at least not for the foreseeable future until I get through a backlog of decks that I want to build and play. I still want to test out different Six Samurai builds, but I've been lazy and haven't picked up Six Sam United yet. So comment below if you have any sweet Six Sam builds. Message me if you can't. Post a link in the comments. Send that link to me. Send the pic, whatever. There's a few builds out there already. I was thinking maybe Six Sam Heroes, but I think that'd be better in Tengu because of the Shining and Zanjis and stuff. Zanji, however you pronounce it. Um, I don't know. Overall, the tournament was fun, obviously, except for the fact that there was a crap ton of Blackwing, and half of them, I think, got in the top. I think half the top 8, sorry, was Blackwing. It was 4 Blackwings in top 8. The Evil Hero Frogs also managed to get in top 8, as well as Plant Frogs and Light Sworn. And the one Vayu who beat me got into top 8 in 8th place. So maybe if I would have won, that means I would have squeezed into 8th, but maybe not, because my tie breaks were not the same as his. So maybe I would end up in 9th, and 8th, 9th would have got bumped to 8th if I would have won. But I don't know. So no store credit for the deck, unfortunately. And it underperformed. It was good enough to win one game, but not good enough to win two. And the only time I think my actual play is the reason I didn't win the match was 100% that play with the Diva when I should have just summoned Plague Spreader and avoided the option of him being able to use Absolute Zero. Because if I used the Plague Spreader, I was 100% going to go Goyo over Bryonic because I didn't want to, play into Super Poly. But in my head, I debated and debated and debated over it. And I was like, he doesn't have Super Poly. It's fine. And sure enough, he had it. So, we lost that. But it's all good, guys. Another exciting weekend of Edison. There will not be any Edison next week because, well, it's Easter. I don't think any stores are open on Easter, right? Like, just how it's going to be. But thanks for watching. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and check out tomorrow for What's Cooking Wednesday.